So Harry and Meghan are rumoured to be going through a trial separation right now, which was said to have been brought on by countless fights over business failures and clashing lifestyles. The news.com PK quoted a source revealing that they are currently not together and saying that Harry needs to go off and find himself. So a trial separation might be the only way that they can resolve their differences and go forward stronger than ever. A source who spoke to the National Enquirer said that their marriage and public image have been adversely impacted by nasty fights with his family and the ongoing feud with their family. Apparently, the couple had been under tremendous financial pressure to fund their lavish California lifestyle. That stress, coupled with their emotional issues, has likely made life a living hell and pushed them to this separation. According to the news platform, Meghan had reportedly been staying in their Montecito mansion with the children, while Harry is said to be heading to Africa to film a documentary for Netflix. The idea is that he'll try to rejuvenate himself overseas and get away from it all, while Meghan hopes to rebuild her image and dive back into the world of Hollywood so she can establish her own brand. To add to that, an anonymous tipster told Dumois that the two of them had sold their mansion in Montecito and that Harry was living in another place. But as usual, with all of these reports floating around about their relationship and possible divorce, we need to take it with a grain of salt. When it comes to Meghan and Harry, the rumor mill seems to be working overtime, and it's very easy to read stories about them that are not at all based in fact. No wonder that an inside source close to the couple has now hit back at the reports. They spoke to Page 6 and said that the rumors of any kind of breakdown in the marriage are completely inaccurate. They said it's not true and it's literally made up. But there are a few things about this that we do know to be true. For one, Harry is understood to be heading to Africa solo to work on his new Netflix documentary. And last month, the couple's $20 million deal with Spotify came to an end before their Archetypes podcast could see a second season. It was later reported that Meghan and Harry did not hold up their end of the bargain when it came to pumping out content. A source close to the situation told the Post that the Archwell media company didn't produce enough episodes to receive the full payout of the $20 million deal. Spotify was also said to be unhappy at the pace in which the couple was working to create these new episodes. Since signing the deal in December of 2020, they failed to produce any solid programming until the Archetypes podcast 2 years later. As for Meghan and Harry's relationship, well, there have been breakup rumors floating around for several weeks now. In June, Lady Colin Campbell, a prominent British author and socialite, and claimed that there had been problems in the marriage supposedly for quite some time. She said, "I have heard from 5 totally reliable sources that Harry called in the lawyers some months ago, and also if there are real problems in the marriage, which there do appear to be, Harry's going to have a heck of a time extricating himself because he has been very overt about all of his failings. If a divorce were to happen, she thinks that he is not in a very good position legally in terms of preserving his position and getting custody of the children." Around the same time, other reports came out alleging that Harry had been spending time alone in 2 different hotels, one near his home in Montecito and another one in LA. Sources that spoke to The Sun claim that he used these as escape suites where he goes to get away from his family home. One is a room kept on standby for him at a leading hotel chain in Montecito, where he apparently stays occasionally without Meghan. His second option is a lot more exclusive. It's a private members club in LA where he is known to stay after going to Barry's boot camp nearby. Of course, the insinuation is that he goes to these places to escape his wife, either because he just needs some time alone like we all do sometimes, or because his marriage is actually crumbling. Although that does sound a bit far-fetched considering how massive his Montecito home really is. I mean, the property is over 18,000 square feet with 9 bedrooms, 16 bathrooms, a tennis court, a guest house with 2 bedrooms and a tea house. So really there is plenty of spaces to go if either Harry or Meghan need some time away from each other. Alright, so let's talk about the latest divorce rumors between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Lady Colin Campbell, a prominent British author and socialite, has commented on reports of a possible divorce. She spoke to GB News and claimed that there has been problems in the marriage, supposedly for some time. She said, "I have heard from 5 totally reliable sources that Harry has called in the lawyers some months ago. Also, if there are real problems in the marriage, which there do appear to be, Harry's going to have a heck of a time extricating himself because he has been very overt about all his failings. If a divorce were to happen, she thinks that he's not in a very good position legally in terms of preserving his position and getting custody of the children. There's no telling if any of that is actually happening now, as this information doesn't necessarily match up with their public face. But this news does come on the back of reports that Harry has been spending time alone in 2 hotels, one near his home in Montecito and another in LA. Sources that spoke to The Sun claim that he uses these as escape suites, where he goes to get away from his family home. One is a room kept on standby for him at a leading hotel chain in Montecito, where he apparently stays occasionally without Meghan. His second option is a bit more exclusive. It's apparently a private members club in LA where he is known to stay after going to Barry's boot camp nearby. Of course, this insinuation is that Harry goes to these places to escape his wife, either because he just needs some time alone like we all do sometimes, or because his marriage is actually crumbling. Although that sounds a bit far-fetched considering how massive his Montecito home really is. The property is over 18,000 square feet with 9 bedrooms, 16 bathrooms, a tennis court, a guest house with 2 bedrooms, and a tea house. So there is plenty of spaces if either Harry or Meghan need some space from each other. But right now there are just so many stories going around about the supposed decline of their relationship. In just the past couple of weeks, we've seen a video of Meghan swerving a kiss from Harry when they were put on a kiss cam at an NBA game. There were also various rumors that the couple didn't celebrate their 5th wedding anniversary this year. Meghan's half-sister Samantha Markle also loves to support this narrative. She claims that she's seen signs that they were headed for divorce. She says they're really unhealthy for each other and their relationship is toxic. Even Harry's own family has been against their relationship since day one. While doing an ITV interview promoting his memoir, Harry revealed William's real feelings about their marriage. Quote, "He never tried to dissuade me from marrying Meghan, but he aired some concerns and said, 'This is going to be hard for you.' And to this day, I don't truly understand what part he was talking about. Maybe he predicted what the British press's reaction was going to be." So his brother wasn't a fan of their relationship from the jump. It's safe to say that most people blame the couple's problems solely on Meghan. She was blamed for their decision to leave the royal family, which is why it's called Megxit. This is something that Harry has addressed in his Netflix documentary last year. He said, "How predictable that the woman is to be blamed for the decision of a couple." He insisted that it was his decision and she never asked to leave. He said he was the one who took it upon himself to start that process. So there was always a lot of misogyny involved when it comes to placing the blame. But the real reason people want them to split up is because they fundamentally do not believe that Meghan is right for Harry, and a divorce would completely validate those feelings. At the same time, the couple have also done everything they can to push their relationship into the spotlight. So it's no wonder that people are so invested. All their Netflix ventures and media projects have made it into a bit of a soap opera, and they've really tried to paint their romance as a fairy tale. So that's created something that not even they can live up to. A real relationship has its highs and lows, and the only time we really get a sense of this is in Harry's memoir, where he describes one of their nasty fights. He confessed that he snapped when a conversation with Meghan took an unexpected turn. He remembers becoming disproportionately sloppily angry with her, and he spoke to her harshly enough that he said everything in the room came to a stop. After that, Meghan calmly let him know that she would never stand to be spoken to like that, and she asked him who he learned it from. In the book, Harry then calls this a light bulb moment, which helped him to realize how much he is a product of his own upbringing. But that's really the first and only time we ever hear about one of their fights firsthand.
Number 10, we have the New York Police Department. The alleged car chase happened when Harry and Meghan were leaving an event in Manhattan. The event was Miss Foundation Woman of Vision Awards, where Meghan was being honored as one of the year's Women of Vision. The couple and Meghan's mother claimed to have been relentlessly pursued after leaving the event with their driver, who drove them in an SUV. But if the chase was as near catastrophic and highly aggressive as the couple has claimed, then where was the police involvement? Reportedly, the whole situation was 2 hours and had many near collisions with drivers, pedestrians, and 2 police officers. Just recently, the New York Times reported that the NYPD concluded that the incident requires no further investigation. In their statement, they basically indicated that they aren't believing the claims of how bad it was, and reportedly said that they believe no one broke any laws. Police officials have acknowledged that the car chase did become chaotic, and went on to say numerous photographers made their transport challenging, and added there were no reported collisions, summons, injuries, or arrests. An anonymous law enforcement source even had some opinions on the whole thing, saying they should have just gotten to a hotel for the safety of everyone. Instead, they were cheap and wanted a free place to stay. Going on to tell Page 6, if they had just paid up and got a hotel, this supposed dangerous paparazzi chase would have never happened. The source explained that the situation would have looked like, adding, they would have driven back to the Carlisle, been photographed going inside, and that would have been the end of it. Number 9, photo and video evidence. The lack of direct evidence has many confused. If there were as many photographers chasing them as there is claimed to be, then where are the photos and videos, and where are witness photos? Typically in high-profile events like this, there is at least something that will find its way to social platforms. But for this incident, there is seemingly very little. Harry and Meghan have looked to want to get a hold of any photos first though. The couple's legal team sent a letter to a photo agency that snapped the photos, Backgrid, and said, immediately provide us with the copies of all photos, videos, and films. Backgrid responded, responded with its own letter, saying, "In America, as I'm sure you know, property belongs to the owner. Third parties can't just demand it be given to them, as perhaps kings can do." The shade really doesn't go unnoticed. The photo agency didn't stop there though, and stood by the photographers. In a statement released regarding the incident, they said they had no intention of causing any distress or harm, as their only tool was their cameras. A few of the photos even show Meghan Markle smiling in the cab. Could this be why Harry and Meghan wanted to get a hold of the photos first? Number 8. Witnesses. Seems like many witnesses don't feel the car chase was quite as dramatic as Harry and Meghan and their team are making it out to be. A photographer who was on the scene at the time told People that it is sensational to even describe the car chase as near catastrophic. The photographer said, "Nobody got a ticket or arrested. I don't see how it was near catastrophic other than a crazy hyperbole." Another source added, "At any point they could have gone to a police station or pulled into a garage." The photo agency Backgrid even claimed that it was Harry and Meghan's security escort who was driving erratically. They said the photographers report that one of the 4 SUVs from Prince Harry's escort was driving in a manner that could be received as reckless. Going on to say the vehicle was seen blocking off streets, and in one video it is shown being pulled over by the police. We do want to point out that according to photographers present, there were no near collisions or near crashes during the incident. Harry and Meghan have also claimed that the ordeal was 2 hours long as they were chased throughout the city, but a high-ranking source just doesn't agree. They revealed there were no collision reports or 911 calls, and the chase definitely wasn't 2 hours. Number 7. Security lawsuit. Could the timing of this situation just be a little too coincidental? Harry has had various problems over the years with security and the media, but more recently he has been in a legal battle for permission to pay for his own police protection in the UK. Harry sued the UK Home Office for a ruling that private individuals who have been denied police bodyguards should not be allowed to pay for them to be reinstated. Harry was stripped of his taxpayer-funded security when he decided to quit as a working royal back in 2020, and has been looking to get this reinstated ever since. But could this denial of paying for police protection force Harry and Meghan to feel that they had to prove they needed it with the car chase? The timing of this paparazzi story and the filing of the lawsuit has definitely struck up some suspicions. Number 6. Diana. The car chase is definitely similar to the heartbreaking story that we've heard before involving Harry's mother, Diana. Back in 1997, Diana and her boyfriend were in a black Mercedes when their driver tried to get away from a swarm of paparazzi. He hit a pillar in a tunnel, and unfortunately all 3 individuals in the car did pass away. Harry has been outspoken about his feelings towards the photographers who caused the crash. In the documentary Diana 7 Days, Harry said, "One of the hardest things to come to terms with is the fact that the people who chased her into the tunnel were the same people that were taking photographs of her while she was still passing away in the backseat of the car." Harry reportedly told his friends after the fact that this is the closest he's ever felt to understanding what his mother went through. Meghan's half-sister Samantha even has some thoughts on this and insists that Meghan has an eerie obsession with the late Princess Diana. Samantha appeared on GV News after reports came out about the car chase. She said, "From the stories of wearing Diana's perfume on their first date, to being seen in photographs mimicking her every move, to reportedly even channeling Diana and putting her hands on stones, I think there seems to be an obsession." Samantha went on to say, "Let's not forget the lifetime drama escaping the palace, when at the end she is depicted dying similarly to how Diana did. And if that's not a little bit eerie and that's not a little bit obsessed, then please tell me what is." Samantha shared her belief that this is all in order to invoke Diana passing. She shared her speculation saying, "Princess Diana is being evoked for convenience seemingly every time Harry and Meghan don't get their way or they want a PR opportunity." Number 5. New York traffic. With New York being full of traffic, it has many speculating how legitimate a full-on chase claim really is. Whoopi Goldberg made her opinions known during a segment on The View. She said, "When you use that kind of verbiage, know your credibility will be cut in half, because New Yorkers will say nobody moves that fast." Going on to say, "I think people know that if it was possible to have car chases in New York, we'd all be making it to the theater on time." This car chase also led TikTokers to take to their social media to show how difficult it really would be to have a car chase in New York. In one video, a TikTok user shows a typical New York street filled with traffic. One person commented, "They could have gotten out of the car and ran faster." And another added, "Every man, woman, and child carries a phone, but no videos of this for 2 hours. Sure." Number 4. Switching cars. The switching of cars definitely had a few people suspicious, with many people questioning why would they leave the safety of their SUV to get into a random taxi. Reportedly, the paparazzi drove on the sidewalk, ran red lights, and drove the wrong way on a one-way street during the whole of the chase, according to TMZ. There were 6 vehicles allegedly following them with blacked out windows. The police ended up intervening and led them to a police station as reported by the Associated Press. After staying there for approximately 15 minutes, they left in a taxi. This left a few social media users concerned as to why they would leave their car for a cab, rather than being escorted in their own car by police to their destination. Instead, after 10 minutes in the first cab ride, the security official that was accompanying the couple and Meghan's mother asked the driver to return to the original location. But after a garbage truck blocked the path, one of the royals insisted they return to the police station. A video posted by TMZ showed the couple in a cab, stuck in traffic and being photographed. The cab was then finally escorted by the NYPD along with flashing lights to their final destination. But it does leave more questions though, because why would they need to switch cars in order to outrun the paparazzi? Why didn't they just ask the police escort in the first place? Number 3, the other royals give no comment. With the event looking like it is merely history repeating itself, many look to the palace to give a statement. But with the royals refusing to comment on anything Harry or Meghan does, it looks like this situation was no exception. When Us Weekly asked the palace for a statement, they simply responded by saying, "This is not something we're commenting on." Considering how similar this event was to the 1997 car crash, many were expecting more of a reaction from the other working royals, but it looks like this will never come. One social media user commented on this and said, "The palace knows that no comment is a comment." Another added saying, "The decline to comment from the royal family is loud." Number 2, sympathy. Another speculation that this car chase could be more exaggerated than it really was is that Harry and Meghan could be looking for sympathy, considering their mixed reviews in the media. The couple has done various interviews and Netflix specials that have shown viewers a look into their life as a modern royal. But with Harry's tell-all memoir, the couple gained a label as being a bit controversial. In the memoir, Harry claims that his brother William physically attacked him, as well as accusing his father, King Charles, of being selfish. Though a few saw this book as being informative and even humanizing the royal family, other readers thought that he was just sharing a little bit too much and not making himself look good in the process. With one reader even saying, "Harry is now just as entitled as the others." With this and the fact that he just recently attended King Charles' coronation solo, could the couple be exaggerating the situation in order to gain back some of their fans? Number 1, the taxi driver. In order to get away from the paparazzi, Harry, Meghan, Meghan's mother, and the security personnel all hopped into a cab. So what does the cab driver who was in the chase have to say about this whole incident? Chris Sanchez, who is a member of the couple's security team, said, "I have never experienced anything like this. What we were dealing with was very chaotic. There were a dozen vehicles. It could have been fatal." But it doesn't seem like the taxi driver, Mr. Singh, agrees. He shared to the Washington Post, "They kept following us and they were coming next to the car. They took pictures as we were stopped and they were filming us." Going on to say, "I don't think I would call it a chase. I never felt like I was in danger. It wasn't like a car chase in the movie. They were quiet and they seemed scared, but it's New York, it's safe." He revealed that the entire journey with the group only lasted about 10 minutes. Mr. Singh also explained that the paparazzi weren't being aggressive, sharing, "They were behind us. I mean, they stayed on top of us, but that was pretty much it. It was nothing more. They kept their distance."
Number 10, the coronation. Though King Charles's coronation isn't until May the 6th, it hasn't stopped speculation as to what might occur at the royal event. After facing massive criticism since stepping down from their royal duties 2 years prior, the couple have now been warned about attending the upcoming coronation. Nigel Farage, a political commentator, has revealed that he would rather they didn't come at all. He spoke to Fox News about his thoughts on the matter and said, "We are so sick to the back teeth of this whining couple. This couple forever tells us they want privacy while they do Netflix and write films. We are sick to death of them." Nigel didn't stop there and admitted that if he believes they come, the people in the streets of London will boo them. It does look like they got a royal invitation though, as a spokesperson for the couple said, "I can confirm the Duke has recently received email correspondence from His Majesty's office regarding the coronation." They also added how they are still considering attending the event or watching from home like the rest of the general public. A few fans of the British royal family have revealed how upsetting it would be if Harry didn't attend for his father, leaving a few to speculate if he will come by himself for support. The spokesperson for the couple spoke to the Sunday Times and said, "An immediate decision on whether the Duke and Duchess will attend will not be disclosed at this time." So I guess only time will tell for this one, but from our end it looks like a little bit of a lose-lose situation. Number 9, Time Magazine. In 2021, Harry and Meghan were featured in Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People, and to mark this accomplishment, they were featured on the cover. In the magazine, the couple were praised for their compassion for people they don't know. The photo on the cover shows Harry in an all-black outfit and Meghan wearing all white. Many think that the photo is very powerful, whereas others feel very differently, saying how heavily airbrushed they look. One fan wrote, "They look different from the usual heavily airbrushed picture there. This is sending out the wrong message. Another person said, this is the weirdest photo. And also other people have been speculating that it looks like CGI. Though many couldn't get over the seemingly awkward picture, a few were left wondering what they were influencing at all. One Twitter user wrote, funny if it wasn't not ridiculous. Harry and Meghan have zero influence outside of America. Please do some research next time. Looks like we can consider this one more of a virtual type of boo. Number 8, the handshake. Although not quite a loud boo from a crowd, this had to be an awkward silence. A clip which has been shared all over social media shows a pretty uncomfortable moment between Meghan and a fan of the royals. The clip shows a woman who refuses to put her hand out when Meghan came along to shake it. She then turned her head away from the Duchess entirely. This happened at Windsor Castle just after Meghan and Harry were joined by Prince William and Kate Middleton for a walkabout. The group of four were walking and greeting the public that came out to show their respects for the late Queen, when Meghan was so clearly snubbed. Seemingly unfazed, she moved on with the rest of her greetings, but we can see that the woman giggled about the incident afterwards with her friend. The woman looks to have company in her dislike of Meghan. In a polling done by Newsweek late last year, Meghan was liked by 27% of Americans and disliked by 44%. Definitely not ideal for the couple who have been struggling in the public eye for quite some time. Number 7, Germany. Harry and Meghan made their way to Dusseldorf, Germany in September of 2022, all to promote the Invictus Games. The games are a competition for wounded, injured, and ill-service personnel and veterans. The couple arrived at the City Hall and were welcomed by the mayor as well as hundreds of fans, mostly cheering, but unfortunately not all of them were happy to see them. A few royal fans have claimed that many attendees in the audience were booing at the pair. Not long after these accusations circulated, a video made its way to social media showing the alleged booing. Although it can't be confirmed if this clip is authentic, it seems many wouldn't be surprised if they were booed on arrival. Number 6, the book release. Prince Harry came out with a tell-all memoir, Spare, and it quickly became the UK's fastest-selling non-fiction book ever. But is all publicity really good publicity? The memoir has been labelled as pretty controversial because the prince claimed that his brother William physically attacked him and accused his father King Charles of being selfish. Although a few people saw this book as being informative and even humanizing the royal family, other readers thought that he was sharing way too much and making himself look good in the process, with one reader even saying Harry is now just as entitled as the others. During a promotional tour for his book, outlets began making up nicknames for the PR push, calling it Me Tour or the Wine Tour, leading an expert to believe this whole situation is the final nail in the coffin for his family relationships. And with William's alleged reaction, it looks like he could be right. A source told Us Weekly earlier this year that William was absolutely horrified by what was written about him. They said, William doesn't even recognize his own brother anymore. He wants to believe that there's hope for peace down the line, but it's hard. By exposing most of your secrets to the world, it really doesn't leave you with many places to hide. Number 5, Thanksgiving Jubilee. The Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations in June of 2022 were in honor of her 70 years on the throne. It was really a royal affair. With all the big names in attendance, Harry and Meghan decided on making their appearance pretty short and sweet and attended just one of the events. They didn't even join in on the reception afterwards with the rest of the royal family. The fact that they skipped out on the reception is probably because of their icy welcome at St. Paul's Cathedral. This was the first public appearance that the couple made with the royal family in 2 years, after they stepped down as senior members of the monarchy. The crowd appeared to be booing as Harry and Meghan were leaving the church service. Not only that, but many speculated that they also didn't interact with Kate and William during the day, regardless of being in the same room. A source said, at the moment, it doesn't look likely that Harry and Meghan and William and Kate will meet up separately during the Jubilee celebrations. A few people have speculated that the videos which show the booing could have been doctored, with some fans believing the boos were for Boris Johnson instead. But let us know what you guys think. Number 4, the Netflix special. The docuseries Harry and Meghan was one of the most anticipated shows of 2022. The series starts by saying this is the first-hand account of Harry and Meghan's story, told with never-before-seen personal archives. But the members of the royal family declined to comment. The whole thing really shows a close-up look at royal life and most likely caused some intense reactions at the palace. A source close to the couple said to the press, these are two people who really love each other and who have respectively given up everything at different points to be together. Though it shows some pretty cute family moments, it also dived into what Harry refers to as a dirty game, which is going on between the press and the palace. This left some viewers confused because it seemed like he was only inviting the media in more by coming out with this series. One fan shared on TikTok, I felt like this entire documentary was about how famous you are. It was relentless. If you're being trolled by the media, the royal family gives you advice to say nothing, because that's the advice most famous people are given. Although some fan reactions were pretty similar to a full-on crowd boo, you can probably imagine the palace's reaction was even worse. Though the royal family has declined to comment, it appears that they knew what the series entails. A source close to William and Kate revealed that the couple is refusing to watch the Netflix special, but is having aides watch it instead. They said it will take a long time before there is harmony between the brothers. There is a lot of anger there. As for the dad though, he is looking to be more forgiving. A royal household source said, "The door is always open when the king is concerned. He would certainly rescue the situation if he could. He would love this to stop." With mixed reviews all around, you can only assume how tense those family phone calls would have been. Number 3, National Television Awards. The NTS is a star-studded event which is attended by some of Britain's biggest stars. Harry and Meghan attended the event in September of 2021, and it all seemed to be going very well, and a TV moment montage began playing for the audience. The video featured Meghan, and there was allegedly an immediate booing throughout the arena. A celebrity source who asked not to be named said, "When the clip came up of Meghan, there were boos from the audience. Some shouted out and there was laughing." The source continued by saying, "There were a few embarrassed faces." Sadly, Meghan was obviously not too popular on the night. The booing was left out on the live stream for those at home, but with many confirmations that it did actually happen, it had to be a pretty awkward experience. Number 2, Manchester Hall. Harry accompanied Meghan in Manchester for her speech at the One Young World Summit at Bridgewater Hall just last year, but the two got a pretty cold welcome and were booed when Harry and Meghan got out of their car. The Duchess was there to give a speech on gender inequality to an audience of about 2,000 people. She shared in her speech how she was overwhelmed by her opportunity during her first appearance at One Young World in 2014. She said, "I was the girl from Suits, and I was surrounded by world leaders, humanitarians, prime ministers, and activists that I had such a deep and long-standing respect and admiration for." Though many did find her speech inspirational, others weren't too impressed. The crowd of about 100 waiting for the Duke and Duchess, there appeared to be more anti-fans than fans. One Manchester local said to the press, "She's a fake humanitarian and a fake feminist. She's a social climber. She thought she could be a celebrity in the royal family, but she's the most toxic." Another person said, "Meghan has used every card she can. Racism, mental health, feminism. She's not a feminist, she's just a hypocrite." Other viewers of the speech even took note of how she talked about herself, counting 54 times she referenced herself in 7 minutes, which only angered the crowd more. An editor-in-chief of Majesty magazine shared her opinions on the speech. She said, "I can't visualize or comprehend how the 2,000 young people understood a word of what she was talking about. It made no sense. It was all about her." And coming in at number 1, the Humanitarian Award. Harry and Meghan were awarded the Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights Award for their fight against racial injustice, but it has since sparked some criticism. The recognition of the couple's philanthropic work within their Archwell Foundation has stirred up some mixed opinions as to whether or not they really deserve it. This wasn't necessarily a boo from the general public, but more so by those involved in the Ripple of Hope Award Gala. The author of a biography on JFK's father Joseph Kennedy asked the question, "What have they done to merit this?" He went on to talk to The Independent saying, "I find it funny somewhere between sublimely ridiculous and bluntly ludicrous. It's absurd." Even Kennedy's son seemed to feel strongly about the choice of Harry and Meghan, telling the Daily Mail, "It's a bewildering choice." Even with some speculation circulating as to the reasons they were chosen, a few others seem to believe this is a step in the right direction.
Number 10. Marrying into the family. It's no secret that Princess Diana struggled with life being a part of the royal family, and having witnessed his mother's attempts to cope with life as a senior member of the royal family, Prince Harry understood Meghan's struggles with the institution after the two married. Both women effortlessly exude larger-than-life presences that captivate the public to the dismay of those around them, Harry said. Harry then added, "First time that the penny dropped for her, Em and I spent the night in a room in Buckingham Palace after an event where every single member of the family had been, including the Queen. The next morning, while eating breakfast together, the couple spotted a UK newspaper where on the front page of the Telegraph was Meghan. I went, 'Oh my god,'" Meghan recalls. "She was like, 'But it's not my fault,' and I said, 'I know,' and my mum felt the same way," Harry said. The Duke explains that jealousy is a common phenomenon in the family that relies on news coverage in order to do their work. The issue is when someone who's marrying in, who should be a supporting act, is then stealing the limelight or is doing the job better than the person who was born to do this, that upsets people. It shifts the balance because you've been led to believe that the only way that your charities can succeed and the only way that your reputation can be grown or improved is if you're on the front page of those newspapers. But the media are the ones who choose who to put on the front page. Number 9. Treatment of the press. Prince Harry said in an interview with Oprah Winfrey that the media's mistreatment of his wife painfully reminded of him how the press treated Diana. My biggest concern was history repeating itself, and I've said that before on numerous occasions very publicly, Harry said. What I was seeing was history repeating itself, more perhaps or far more dangerously, because then you add race in and social media in. And what I'm talking about, history repeating itself, I'm talking about my mother. He talked about feeling trapped and helpless in the institution of the royal family. The couple said they asked for help, both together and separately, on their struggles with mental health and combating racist rhetoric from tabloids, but said they didn't receive support. When you can see something happening in the same kind of way as my mother's story, anybody would ask for help. Ask the system of which you are a part of, especially when you know there's a relationship there. They can share some truth or call the dogs off or whatever you want to call it, but they didn't, Harry said. Number 8. Struggling with mental health. In their Oprah interview, Meghan says she was told she couldn't get help despite having thoughts about ending her life, but that royals have seen therapists before. Princess Diana opened up about her experience with postpartum depression in an interview with BBC in 1995. She told the network she received a great deal of treatment, and she briefly touched on the royals family response. Well, maybe I was the first person ever to be in this family who ever had depression or was ever openly tearful, and obviously that was daunting because if you've never seen it before, how do you support it? However, Meghan said she spoke with a senior member of the royal institution about seeking help for mental health and was turned away. I said that I've never felt this way before and I need to go somewhere, and I was told that I couldn't, that it wouldn't be good for the institution. The Duchess of Sussex also tried to get help via the institution's human resources department. Although she received some sympathy, representatives of the institution told her there was nothing they could do for her. I remember this conversation like it was yesterday because they said, "My heart goes out to you because I see how bad it is, but there's nothing we can do to protect you because you're not a paid employee of the institution." Many people doubted that Meghan was turned away for help as Diana received it when she asked for it, but Harry and her insist that they were denied help. Number 7. Royal tours. Meghan and Harry's and Princess Diana and Prince Charles's royal tours of Australia were the turning point in their lives. In the tell-all interview with Oprah, Harry said, "My grandmother has been amazing throughout, you know, my father, my brother Kate, and all the rest of the family, they were supportive. They were really welcoming, but it changed after the Australia tour. That's when we announced we were pregnant with Archie. It was our first tour," Meghan added. "And it was the first time that the family got to see how incredible she is at her job," Prince Harry continued, adding that it reminded him of the glowing public reception his mother received during her tour of Australia. Princess Diana and Prince Charles's first tour of Australia similarly shed light on how popular the new royal had become abroad, as she was met with many adoring fans. "We had a 6-week tour, 4 weeks in Australia and 2 weeks in New Zealand, and by the end, when we flew back to New Zealand, I was a different person. I realized the sense of duty, the level of intensity of interest, and the demanding role I now find myself in," Diana said. Number 6. Being driven away by the media. Harry also opened up about being scared for the future of his wife, sharing his concern at the time and referring to the paparazzi's harassment that ultimately resulted in the tragic death of Princess Diana. "I was terrified of her being driven away by the media," Harry admitted to the viewers in their documentary. He previously talked about it during his Apple TV Plus series, revealing that his biggest regret is not making more of a stance earlier on in my relationship with my wife. History was repeating itself. My mother was chased to her death. Number 5. Both entered marriages as non-royals. Before announcing her engagement to Prince Harry and joining the royal family, Meghan was an actress and ran her own lifestyle blog. However, not only did she enter a relationship with Prince Harry as a non-royal, she claims that she knew very little about the royal family as a whole or what being a working royal actually entailed. "I didn't grow up knowing much about the royal family. It wasn't something that was a part of the conversation at home. It wasn't something we followed," she told Oprah in March 2021. Now, Princess Diana grew up in an aristocratic family and had more knowledge of the royal family, but revealed that she had no idea what joining the royal family would actually entail and the support she would or wouldn't have. Number 4. They share the same qualities. It's said that men really do tend to look for partners with similar traits and values as their mothers. A personality test given to the mothers and wives or girlfriends of British men found that they tend to have a lot in common. Men whose mothers have strong values, such as respecting others' others' opinions and being kind appear to look for the same thing in their other half, and it seems like Harry is no exception to this. In the documentary Harry and Meghan, Harry shares his love for his mother and also expresses that some of the things he loves most about his wife are qualities she shares with the late Princess Diana. In the documentary, Harry said, "So much of what Meghan is and how she is so similar to my mom. She has the same compassion, the same empathy, the same confidence. She has this warmth about her." Now, some people might find this sweet, while others may find it creepy. Which one do you think it is? Number 3. The attention. Princess Diana spoke about how isolating the attention became, especially from the media. She said, "The most daunting aspect was the media's attention because my husband and I, we were told when we got engaged that the media would go quietly, and it didn't. And then when we were married, they said it would go quietly, and it didn't." The princess also spoke about the part the media attention played in the dissolution of her marriage, saying, "The pressure on us both as a couple with the media was phenomenal and misunderstood by a great many people. There were 3 of us in the marriage, and the pressure of the media was another factor, so the two together were very difficult." In Harry and Meghan, the couple spoke about the intense media pressure they had faced, and Harry likened Meghan's treatment to that his mother had endured. "To see another woman in my life who I loved go through this feeding frenzy, it's hard. It's basically the hunter versus the prey," he said. Now, in 2016, Harry released a statement confirming he was dating Meghan, but slammed the press coverage surrounding her and their relationship. The couple later filed multiple lawsuits against the British press and halted cooperation with the tabloids. "I asked for calm from the British tabloids once as a boyfriend, once as a husband, and once as a father." He added that the primary reason for them leaving their royal roles was due to a lack of support and understanding from both the media and the royal family. Number 2. Royal exit to Princess Diana's death. While being interviewed by ITV, Harry said the reason why he had a royal exit with Meghan was due to him fearing that Meghan would end up like his mother if they stayed with the royals any longer. He said, "I do not want to be a single dad. I never want to be in that position. I never want to be in that position," referring to his mother's death in 1997 following a car crash. He reiterated, "I don't want history to repeat itself. I do not want to be a single dad, and I certainly don't want my children to have life without a mother or father." Harry has 2 children who he shares with Meghan, Archie and Lily. In 2020, they announced their plans to step away from their roles in the royal family, which made headlines. 1 year later, they confirmed that the decision was made permanent and they moved to California. They did this so they could get away from everyone and everything, as it was affecting their lives so much they couldn't take it. And number 1, history repeating itself. The docuseries premiere opens with Harry speaking about still feeling haunted by the memories of feeling helpless when his mother struggled with the tabloid media. "I always wanted to be normal as opposed to being Prince Harry, just being Harry," he says. "It was a puzzling life, and unfortunately, when I think about my mom, the first thing that comes to mind is always the same one, over and over again. Strapped in the car, seatbelt across, my brother in the car as well, and my mother driving and being chased by 3, 4, 5 mopeds with paparazzi on them. One of the feelings that comes up is helplessness, and that happened every single day until she died." After reflecting on his mother's tragic death and his pain-driven view of the UK media in the first episode, Harry talks about how similarities between his childhood and his adult life had rampantly crept up, especially in his relationship with his now wife Meghan. "We got followed, photographed, chased, harassed. The clicking of cameras and the flashes of the cameras makes my blood boil. It makes me angry and takes me back to what happened to my mom and what I experienced as a kid. Not just traditional media, but also social media platforms as well. I felt completely helpless," he said.
Number 10. Family disapproval. While doing an ITV interview promoting his memoir, Harry revealed William's real feelings about their marriage. Quote, "He never tried to dissuade me from marrying Meghan, but he aired some concerns and said, 'This is going to be hard for you.' And to this day, I don't really understand what part he was talking about. Maybe he predicted what the British press's reaction was going to be." So his brother wasn't a big fan of their relationship right from the jump. In Spare, Harry recounts what he says was a physical attack by William, and it was all because of his marriage to Meghan. He called her difficult, rude, and abrasive when he arrived at Nottingham Cottage, and Harry said he was already piping hot. It was then that William launched into a rant about Meghan and obviously had several complaints that he wanted to air. Harry then tried to defend her and told him that he was repeating the press narrative and that he expected better from him. He wrote that by this point he could start to see that William was not being rational, and the 2 men started shouting over each other, but his complaints reflected the basis of the conflict between Meghan and the royal family. Number 9. Meghan goes out without him. Interestingly enough, it seems like Meghan is more likely to be the one who wants to spend time apart from her husband. According to recent sightings, she's keen to leave Harry at home and party in California without him. Last month, British writer Petronella Wyatt tweeted, "Friends of mine who live near Harry and Meghan are always bumping into Meghan at parties these days. Strangely, she tends to leave Harry at home." In a second tweet, she wrote, "The Megs has become pally with someone from a very famous American family, whose wealth surpasses that of the Windsors." This is certainly an interesting idea, but it's not clear who she could be referring to. It's more than likely that Meghan has other celebrity friends that she likes to spend time with apart from Harry. They don't always need to be together, but in their busy lives, it's probably a good idea that they try to make time for each other. Their most recent date night was at an NBA game in LA, where they were captured in a kiss cam moment. The crowd cheered and encouraged them to kiss. As Harry appeared to lean in for a kiss, Meghan playfully turned away and clutched his arm. It was a little unlike them to avoid PDA, but we'll get more into that a little bit later. Number 8. Harry's secret hideout. Several reports have been going around alleging that Harry has been spending time alone in 2 hotels, one near his home in Montecito and another in LA. Sources that spoke to The Sun claim that he used these as escape suites where he goes to get away from his family home. One is a room kept on standby for him at a leading hotel chain in Montecito, where he apparently stays occasionally without Meghan. His second option is a lot more exclusive. It's a private members club in LA where he is known to stay after going to Barry's boot camp nearby. Of course, the insinuation is that he goes to these places to escape his wife, either because he just needs some alone time like we all do, or his marriage is actually crumbling. Although that sounds a bit far-fetched considering how massive his Montecito home really is. The property is over 18,000 square feet with 9 bedrooms, 16 bathrooms, tennis court, and a guest house with 2 bedrooms. So there is plenty of spaces to go if either Harry or Meghan need some space from each other. Number 7. Avoiding the spotlight. During a segment on GB News, it was said that Harry decided that he didn't want to be in the spotlight anymore and we won't be seeing very much of him. Meghan, on the other hand, is used to it and she does very well. It's been reported that they are going to stop making tell-all Netflix documentaries, publishing memoirs, and taking part in interviews that reveal the inner workings of the royal family, apparently because they have nothing left to say. One source that's close to them spoke to The Sun and said that that period of their life is over and there is nothing left to say, but they hope 2023 will be their year of reconciliation with the royal family. So basically they've said all they needed to say, and now they're hoping to lay low for a bit and rebuild some of these strained relationships that they left behind in the UK. This news is certainly interesting given just how much the couple have been criticized for insisting that they want privacy, but at the same time appearing in interviews and making allegations about the royal family. So it's possible that they have just realized that they can't keep talking about the royal family forever, and it's well and truly time to move on. Number 6. Celebrity obsessed. Broadcaster and comedian Tim Dillon recently said on his Tim Dillon show that Meghan has been trying to get close to stars trying to get places, and was even begging them to hang out with her. He said all they want to do is hang out with celebrities. Quote, "I was at a party the other night talking to someone about these people, and it's just constant with them." He then went on to say that Meghan has been texting someone who was with him at the party. He said, "She was texting the person that I was with there. The point is they just won't stop these two. They're like low-grade reality stars trying to attach to anything." He then claimed that several people he was with at the party showed him text messages of Meghan begging them to hang out, revealing that they were having a good laugh at her expense. Some people reportedly branded her alleged behavior as sad. And then he added, "A lot of people at this party were like, we text her back and she's a duchess. But we've had enough." He did, however, say that he actually respected Meghan's hustle. Number 5. Taking time apart. Multiple reports have alleged that the couple were taking time apart, with Harry being ready to partake on a solo trip to Africa for a new documentary. On July 18th, Radar Online revealed that the couple were taking time apart in order to rebuild their marriage and save it from divorce. Shockingly, that is not the only outlet that has addressed the situation. The Spanish newspaper El Heraldo reported that Meghan Markle filed an $80 million demand to ensure that her children remain on American soil. It's also been said that King Charles is ready to intervene should the royal couple ever decide to divorce. He's reportedly willing to welcome Harry along with his grandchildren Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. It all comes after Radar Online quoted insiders who said Meghan and Harry were trying to figure out what hit them, but these reports were contradicted by their representatives, and a friend has already dismissed these rumors. The source close to the couple addressed the claims that they were splitting up and called them complete garbage. One of Harry's reps told Page 6, "This is not true, it's literally all made up." Number 4. Body language. Speaking to to the Mirror, body language expert Judy James said that while they have not been as tactile as they have been in public previously, some of their rituals are still alive and well. She said Harry and Meghan have been a walking testimony to marital bliss. Their face-gazing looks of mutual adoration and their inability not to touch, hug, stroke, or clasp hands with each other for longer than a few moments has always proved that however controversial their comments, their love was an ongoing success story. When describing Meghan, she said her wide smile when she is with Harry looks like a statement, a social gesture to let her fans know that her life is still happy and perfect, although his expression is a bit more muted. These breakup rumors came around the same time that some of their Hollywood ventures have proven to be tiresome. Vanity Fair's royal editor Katie Nicole said that Harry and Meghan have churned out a narrative that she thinks has become quite tiresome for most people now. Quote, "There has been for some time an expectation of when we will hear and see content that isn't related to the fallout of the royal family and isn't related to his past, and seeing something new. As of yet, we haven't." Number 3, outside pressures. The couple's marriage is said to be a hot topic among the residents of Buckingham Palace. An unnamed friend of King Charles stepped forward to offer some insight into what he's feeling right now in terms of all these divorce rumors. The person in question broke their silence with the Daily Beast and said that the marriage has to work, but it's not the case of King Charles saying Harry has made his bed and he has to lie in it. It's more of a case of a father wanting his son, who he loves very much, to be happy and to have his wife and children in his life. Another revelation by an unnamed source said to be one of Prince William's friends had something similar to say. They said William and Kate had plenty of reservations about the marriage in the first place, precisely because they feared Meghan wasn't right for Harry. But what's done is done now, and now William, like everyone else in his family, just hopes it all works out. He said Harry returning to the UK and William trying to find him a job would be a nightmare. Not only that, but instead of celebrating their 5 years of marriage, it has been reported that Harry and Meghan are trying to overcome a little bump. Apparently they have not celebrated their most recent anniversary and have not shown any loving gesture towards each other for some time, something that makes the British media suspect a possible divorce. Number 2, Meghan avoiding Harry's kiss. Harry and Meghan were recently captured in a kiss cam moment at an NBA game in LA. They made a rare public appearance at the Crypto.com arena as they watched a basketball game between the LA Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies. The couple smiled and laughed as they appeared on the big screen at the arena, and that footage was published in a YouTube video by The Telegraph. The crowd cheered and encouraged them to kiss, and Harry appeared to lean in for a kiss. Meghan playfully turned away and clutched his arm. They certainly seemed happy during the game, but it is a little unlike them to avoid these public displays of affection. So that moment had some people wondering whether or not their relationship was on the rocks. During their time as senior working royals, they would often kiss and hold hands in public. It was really what set them apart from other royal couples who were a lot less inclined to show PDA. These little affectionate moments really made them seem warm and authentic. So if we don't see that as much anymore, it might be a sign that something is up. And coming in at number 1, financial issues. It's no secret that Harry and Meghan have had their multi-million-dollar Spotify contract scrapped. According to a joint statement, Spotify and Archwell Audio have mutually agreed to part ways and are proud of the series that they made together. So the couple's lucrative deal to produce podcasts has now come to an end. The exact reason for this cancellation remains a mystery, but of course there are a few theories going around. One of them being that Meghan and Harry simply did not hold up their end of the bargain when it came to pumping out content. A source close to the situation told the Post that the Archwell Media Company didn't produce enough content to receive the full payout of the $20 million deal. Spotify was also said to be unhappy at the pace in which the couple were working to create these new episodes. Since signing the deal in December of 2020, they failed to produce any solid programming until the Archetypes podcast 2 years later. So it's possible that the ending of this deal has put the couple under financial strain until they can book their next big media project. Number 10, family pressure. The couple's marriage is said to be a hot topic among the residents of Buckingham Palace. An unnamed friend of King Charles stepped forward to offer some insight into what he's feeling in terms of all the divorce rumors. The person in question broke their silence with the Daily Beast and said that the marriage has to work. He said, "That's not a case of Charles saying Harry has made his bed and he has to lie in it, but more so the case of a father wanting his son, who he loves very much, to be happy and to have a wife and children in his life." Another revelation by an unnamed source said to be one one of Prince William's friends, has something similar to say. They said William and Kate had plenty of reservations about the marriage in the first place, precisely because they feared Meghan wasn't right for Harry. But what's done is done now, and William, like everyone else in the family, just hopes it all works out. Harry returning to the UK and trying to find him a job would be a bloody nightmare. Instead of celebrating their 5 years of marriage, it has been reported that Harry and Meghan are now trying to overcome a little bump. Apparently they have not celebrated their most recent anniversary and have not shown any loving gesture towards each other for quite some time, which is something that makes the British media suspect a possible divorce. Number 9, the car chase. The couple faced intense public scrutiny when they claimed to have gotten into a near catastrophic car chase after attending a recent awards ceremony. It's possible that this added level of criticism is what brought about reports of rising tensions within their marriage. At the time, their spokesperson released a statement saying, "Last night, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and Miss Ragland were involved in a near catastrophic car chase at the hands of a ring of highly aggressive paparazzi. This relentless pursuit lasted over 2 hours and resulted in multiple near collisions involving other drivers on the road, pedestrians, and 2 police officers." But right away, questions were raised about the accuracy of this story. One of the paparazzi drivers involved in the car chase claimed that it was Meghan and Harry's taxi driver who was being reckless. He spoke anonymously to ITV's Good Morning Britain and said that it was very tense trying to keep up with their car because they did a lot of blocking and different types of maneuvers to stop what was happening. He said if it was dangerous and catastrophic, it was more than likely based on the person that was driving. After that, the couple's own taxi driver spoke out about the incident, claiming that the whole thing was more or less exaggerated. Number 8, Meghan parties without Harry. Interestingly, it seems like Meghan is more likely to be the one who wants to spend time apart from her husband. According to recent sightings, she is keen to leave Harry at home and party in California without him. Last month, British writer Petronella Wyatt tweeted, "Friends of mine who live near Harry and Meghan are always bumping into Meghan at parties these days. Strangely, she tends to leave Harry at home." In a second tweet, she wrote, "La Megs has become pally with someone from a very famous American family, whose wealth surpasses that of the Windsors." This is certainly an interesting idea, but it's not exactly clear who she's referring to. It's more than likely that Meghan has other celebrity friends that she likes to spend time with apart from Harry. They don't always need to be together, but in their busy lives, it's probably a good idea that they try to make time for each other. Their most recent date was at an NBA game in LA, where they were captured in a kiss cam moment. The crowd cheered and encouraged them to kiss, and as Harry appeared to lean in for a kiss, Meghan playfully turned away and clutched his arm. It was very unlike them to avoid PDA, so this moment had some people wondering whether or not their relationship was on the rocks. Number 7, celebrity obsessed. Broadcaster and comedian Tim Dillon recently said on the Tim Dillon Show that Meghan has been trying to get close to stars trying to get places, and was even begging them to hang out with her. He said all they want to do is hang out with celebrities. Quote, "I was at a party the other night talking to someone about these people, and it's just constant with them." He then went on to say that Meghan has been texting someone who was with him at the party. He said, "She was texting the person I was there with. The point is they just won't stop, these two. They're like low-grade reality stars trying to attach to anything." He then claimed that several people he was at the party with showed him text messages of Meghan begging them to hang out, revealing that they were having a good laugh at her expense. Some people reportedly branded her alleged behavior as sad, and then he said, "A lot of people at the party were like, well, we text her back, she's a duchess, but we've had enough." Although he did say that he actually respected Meghan's hustle. Number 6, royal predictions. Paul Burrell worked for the late Princess Diana for more than 10 years until her death in 1997, and he thinks that Harry will return to the UK for good but without Meghan. In conversation with GB News, he said, "Am I the only person in the UK that is thinking, has Harry finally woken up to the truth? Has he seen the truth of what his wife is doing and that he's been brainwashed and mesmerized by her beauty or something? Because we all know that he doesn't seem to see it." Burrell insists that he wants Harry to be happy, but he admitted that there was a doubt in his mind that his marriage to Meghan would last. In fact, he believes the prince would return to the UK for good and be welcomed with open arms by both his father and brother. He claimed that Harry's children are the reason he has remained in California, because splitting up from his family right now would be a little premature. He said, "You will inevitably see cracks in this marriage because we know with great press and great criticism and world fame comes great pressure, and this couple will have great pressure on their shoulders. But if he left this relationship now, he would lose his children because she would keep them in America and he wouldn't be able to see them." Number 5, Meghan gets tired of Harry. According to a report from royal journalist Tom Bower, Meghan appears to be getting tired of Harry, and the two of them have started to live independently and separately. According to Bower, the rumors coming out of London speculate that Meghan will at any moment say this is enough and negotiate with King Charles some kind of deal to break off the marriage. Not only that, but her absence at the coronation of her father-in-law is something that further fueled rumors of marital problems. While she stayed in Montecito with Lilibet and Archie, Harry was noticeably uncomfortable when he arrived at Westminster Abbey for the coronation service alone. He was the only one who came solo and sat between two couples in the third row. Meanwhile, his brother, William, Kate and their children were in the front row. We didn't see any interaction between him and his immediate family, and after the service he left the event alone. That painted a very dreary picture of his strained relationships with both his father and brother. Number 4, stepping back. Another major sign that the couple are going through it is the fact that they plan to scale down their media appearances from now on. It's been reported that they are going to stop making tell-all Netflix documentaries, publishing memoirs, and taking part in interviews that reveal the inner workings of the royal family, apparently because they have nothing left to say. One source close to them spoke to The Sun and said that the period in their life is over and there's nothing left to say, but they hope 2023 would be their year of reconciliation with the royal family. So basically they've said all they needed to say, and now they are hoping to lay low for a bit and rebuild some of these strained relationships. This news is certainly interesting given just how much the couple have been criticized for insisting that they want privacy, but at the same time appearing in interviews and making allegations about the royal family. When Harry and Meghan decided to move to California in 2020, it wasn't long before they started appearing in tell-all interviews and planning to make their first documentary. So it's possible that they have realized they cannot keep talking about the royals forever, and it's well and truly time to move on. Number 3, Meghan's family tensions. Samantha Markle has claimed that her half-sister did a lot of damage to their father, Thomas Markle. She called on Meghan to make a public apology to him and the rest of the family. She also spoke to TMZ about her marriage to Harry and said, "I see it ending in divorce unless they get extensive counseling and can agree to work on being honest. I mean, nothing about any of this has been honest, and the damage to the royals has been massive, especially now." Meghan's half-sister has already claimed that the couple are heading towards divorce. She suggested Harry may already be questioning the marriage and predicted that it could get nasty until he starts dissenting or pulling back from her. Samantha has always been particularly vicious towards Meghan and would often make fun of the public scrutiny that the couple were already going through. For example, she called on them to go on an apology tour after they made accusations of racism within the royal family. This was right after their bombshell interview with Oprah Winfrey. Samantha took particular issue with this appearance because she felt that Meghan had attacked her character and humiliated her on a global scale. Number 2, exposed by staff. A shocking book called Courtiers: The Hidden Power Behind the Crown claimed that Meghan had always desired to be rejected by the royal family. According to an ex-employee quoted by the author, everyone knew that the institution would be measured by her happiness. The mistake they made was thinking that she wanted to be happy. She wanted to be rejected because she was obsessed with that narrative from day one. The book also suggests that Meghan was trying to create a trail of evidence to support her story being rejected. Several members of staff came out labeling her as a narcissistic psychopath and claimed that Harry and Meghan played them. Apparently they also refer to themselves as the Sussex Survivors Club after they stopped working for the couple. The book also delves into how the Duchess allegedly became obsessed with the victim story that served as the basis for Megxit, and apparently it's been her plan all along. And coming in at number 1, sick of being snubbed. Although Meghan and Harry are used to being snubbed by the royal family by now, it must be a little jarring when that also extends to their young children. Their daughter Princess Lilibet celebrated her 2nd birthday recently, and this year the family chose not to send their best wishes. Last year the official Twitter accounts for Charles, Camilla, William and Kate all wished Lilibet a happy 1st birthday. They celebrated the occasion with a family picnic at Frogmore Cottage, which fell around the same time as the Platinum Jubilee celebrations. But this year things seemed to be very different. There was nothing but silence coming from the royal family's 3 Twitter accounts, even from Princess Eugenie, who's said to be a very close ally of Harry and Meghan. This snub was also apparent on Prince Archie's 4th birthday last month, which fell on the same day as King Charles's coronation. Harry was briefly reunited with his family during the event, but there's no telling how this family strain has affected his relationship with Meghan, though it seems like they are getting absolutely sick of it.